Welcome back. World War II, 9/11, and now COVID-19. Major events forcing the New York Stock Exchange to close its floor trading. And that is where we find ourselves today. That is the deal beginning Monday, but the exchange will be open for electronic trading. So how's it going to impact everyday investors? Joining us right now to talk more about that, we talk with the president of the New York Stock Exchange, Stacey Cunningham. Stacey, thanks very much for joining me once again. This is a big deal, closing the trading floor for a period of time. What are your expectations?
You know, it is a big deal, Maria. We haven't closed the trading floor, as you mentioned. There are a few historic moments where the trading floor has been closed. What's different about this time is that electronic trading will continue. So that part of it is different. We run multiple markets. We run 5 equity exchanges, 2 options markets. Many of them trade fully electronically. The New York Stock Exchange introduces the human judgment element on top of stock trading. That leads to dampening volatility during times of stress. And as we've seen lately, the markets have been pretty volatile. So we were hanging on to try and keep that extra added protection into the market. But it got to a point where we just were concerned. We couldn't guarantee that people were going to be able to be protected their health. So while we're seeing how the virus unfolds and steps that we can continue to take, we're temporarily shifting to fully electronic until we can have more clarity around that situation.
So what are your expectations in terms of how long this lasts? Stacey, when we spoke earlier this week on Fox Business on Mornings with Maria, you said, look, if there's a situation where we need human interaction, where we need that extra, buying or selling to balance out a trade, we have it here on the floor of the NYSE. Are you worried that you will not have that component now with electronic trading only?
I do think we'll see some added volatility. I'll give you an example. Last Friday, when the president announced that he was going to fill the oil reserves, it was just a few minutes before the closing auction, and we saw massive buy orders coming into the market right at that close. The traders here on the floor were able to go solicit offsetting sell orders so that they could dampen that volatility and reduce price swings. And so that's an important function that they're able to deliver. When we go fully electronic, you don't see that same effect. So yes, I do think it's going to add to a little bit of additional volatility in an already volatile period of time. So that's concerning. From an operations perspective, I'm confident it'll work smoothly. So stocks will still open and close. Traders will still be able to send their interest in. And things will trade normally. I just expect you're going to see additional volatility around the edges, and that's unfortunate given how the markets are already, dealing with so many price swings.
Stacey, let me move away from the operations of this because we clearly understand why you're closing the trading floor for a temporary period of time. You've got what, a couple hundred people on the floor right now?
Yeah, there are a few hundred people, and I will say this is a very patriotic group, Maria, so they're looking to come back as soon as possible. They want to do their part, right? And they understand the value and the service they provide to investors.
As we all do, and of course. So put that aside for a moment. I want to ask you something about sentiment, because you've been on the floor for years. Before you had this role of president, you were there in the trenches on the floor of the exchange. What is your take on sentiment, particularly today, as the president started talking about vaccines, talking more about cures and about therapies to treat coronavirus? We saw the market change direction. We saw the market actually trade up and finish up 188 points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, about 1%. Do you feel a change in sentiment on the floor? Because we've lost $7 trillion in market value. I'm wondering where the sentiment goes now, Stacey.
Yes, I mean, markets react to uncertainty, as you know well, right? And so what we've been trying to understand is how is this virus pandemic going to continue to unfold? What's the long-term impact going to be on Americans in their everyday lives? And I think what we're seeing is the government rising to the occasion to answer some of those questions. These are the things that they're going to do. I've had the opportunity, over the past couple of weeks to talk to the federal administration, to the Treasury Department, to the House Financial Services Committee, to our regulators, to local city and state government, and all of them are very focused on helping those in need. And I think that you'll see, through the stimulus package and the announcements that the president continues to make, there is a lot of interest in addressing the short-term pain on the economy. And so that's where I think you're seeing market reaction. It's it's a changing moment, very fluid. Every single day we get new news, and people are reacting to that in real time.
Yeah, real quick, Stacey, do you want to see any other changes in terms of the regulations over financial services and the New York Stock Exchange? Because the president's doing fast track at the FDA. Is there anything standing in the way in terms of creating a more effective trading situation for Wall Street that you'd like to see from a regulatory standpoint, real quick?
Yeah, one thing I will highlight, because it's been rumored a few times that there's talk of shutting the markets down to stop the market decline. I have not had that conversation with any of those groups I talked about. They're not considering it at Treasury, at Congress, in any of those areas. And I think that understanding that that's not the case would actually be helpful to investor sentiment. If people hear the market might be closed, they may be more inclined to sell because they're afraid they won't be in the future.
Right.
So I think hearing a clear statement, which we have heard from Secretary Mnuchin, we have heard from Chairman Clayton at the SEC, they have no plans to close the market. You're hearing it from me. The markets are staying open. We're not talking about closing the markets. We're not talking about shortening the trading day. Repeating that message, I think, is really important for everyone to hear.
Stacey, thank you. We will see you soon. Appreciate it very much.
Maria.